Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice.
Yo, Charlie, what's up, guys? Today I want to welcome you to our premium. Let's see. This is our premium episode because we are privileged to have a seasoned man with us. I don't know. You see, looking at the profile, for being careful. I need to be very, very, very careful before I mess things up. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's episode we are dedicating it to. We call him the general. When he's done talking, you understand the reason why he's the general. We have Mr. Sacut Amenga with us. He says, I don't want to use the word award-winning journalist. He's a seasoned journalist.
That's right.
An author and then an activist. See, he's a seasoned journalist, an actor, and an activist. Relax. You see these three things. And then what we are talking about today, you should know what you should expect. We are a regular host, Geraldo, and then I'm here with Raphael. Edward, they do some serious business this, which we do watch that, so they do more things. You see that and that. Sometimes for day back, then do some business by filming. But yeah, it's basically simple. Today we're talking about why Europe is not heaven, and then why Africa is not hell. Listen, Europe, the abroach of people they talk about, or Europe, you know, be heaven. It's not heaven. And Africa, where we did, you know, be hell. For this reason, we would like to formally introduce Mr. Sacut Amenga, aka the General himself.
Yes, man.
Also, we agree to you.
Hey, greetings. Happy to be here.
Oh, we are privileged to have you.
You can also call me the traveler.
The traveler.
Because I like to travel a lot. You know, I've been to at least 25 different countries.
Oh, that's nice.
You see that accent?
And more cities.
If you're a Wednesday born, then we can call you Kuku the Traveler.
Oh yeah, I'm Wednesday born.
Oh, then
the traveler. Okay, that's really good. So,
That's right.
why do you think Europe is not heaven?
Because I experienced Europe. I lived in Europe for at least 3 years. I lived in Amsterdam.
Okay.
I also lived in Milan.
Okay.
Amsterdam is in the Netherlands, and Milan in Italy. And I've gone across a lot of cities in Europe, including Paris, including Brussels, including Rome, Venice. I've gone to most of the places in Europe. And I can assure you that it's not heaven as you perceive it on this side of the world. You know, here people spend all their life savings trying to go to Europe because they assume that where they are is hell, that nothing will work here. Mm-hmm. And so as soon as they get on the plane or the boat or whatever means, and they get to Europe,
I like the boot.
Then their problems are
all solved.
I can assure you that when you get to Europe, you realize that you are the problems you face there you meet are a different level, like more sophisticated problems.
But you see, sometimes we kind of get these things from some people.
That's right.
Like
I don't believe.
Look here, boss. Sometimes you know we say like Africa be hell, but they watch they get hell when they get hell. Like you compare the two.
Let me tell you something. Europe, plenty of money there. If you go to Europe, if you get to Amsterdam, beautiful city, there's a lot of riches, but the riches is not for everyone.
Yes,
true.
You reach the riches there, plenty of money there. You gotta watch with your eye, but you don't go touch.
Exactly.
You go see nice house, but you don't go sleep for nice house inside.
That's true.
Because first of all, let me tell you something. If you reach Europe right now, say you're from Africa, you have some university degree, whatever, master degree, whatever. When you reach Europe right now, that degree is as good as a toilet paper. Ooh. That's the fact. No, company will hire you because you went to University of Ghana or University of Coast or Ghana Institute of Journalism. No. I went to Europe with a degree from GIJ. Nobody hired me as a journalist from Ghana because this is Europe. English is their language.
Yes.
Me, I'm coming from Africa. Okay. Do you think I can write better English than the Europeans? Don't employ me. I'm coming from an African university. Substandard. They consider our system substandard. Look at here. People go to university. They don't even do their own project work. People have to do their project work for them, write for them, blah, blah, blah. You get a degree and you don't know your left from your right.
Yeah,
In Europe, to get a degree, you really have to be smart.
Yeah.
So one of the things is that you may even get a degree and you get there and they give you the opportunity and you cannot cope. You just can't because you didn't even do your project work. The thing you left for yawa cry.
Exactly.
Substandard.
I do.
So your certificate will get you a job. So if you reach there right now, first of all, now you become like another person where you don't have skill, nothing.
Okay.
So let's say you don't have any skill. You know, you're not. If you're a barber, say when you want to say, oh, you go find some Ghanaians with one barber and you go barber for them, you go collect more money. Maybe you don't be barber, you don't be tailor, you don't be nothing. You don't get any skill apart from maybe the thing you learn for school.
Yeah.
If you now you have to put it aside and do some manual work. The manual work itself now. The Eastern Europeans, you know, in Europe, not every country will be rich.
Yeah.
A lot of the countries in Europe, like Eastern Europe, they are poor. Like the Ukrainians, the guys coming from Hungary. You see all those Eastern European countries. They're poor past African countries.
Okay, true.
So, and there is something called racism in Europe. The white man will give the opportunity to the white man.
Yeah.
And the job that the poorest white man will refuse to do, that's the one that the black man will get.
But with that, I personally feel I'm using the minimum wage as a bar for this. The recent increment in Ghana's minimum, I think 14 cedis.
Yeah.
But also per day,
14 cedis per day.
Per day, 14 cedis.
Yes.
And then you compare that to
No, per dollar or per euro, but not per day. You say 14 cedis.
14 cedis
To a dollar or to a euro.
No.
No,
Like,
for
what
a
do you
day.
call it?
minimum wage
The minimum
for each
wage
worker a
You
day.
mean for Ghana?
Yes.
For Ghana a day is 14 cedis.
Yes.
But as compared to Ibia, let's assume I'm taking minimum wage over here, 14 cedis a day.
Yes.
A month, I think it's going to be around 420, I don't know.
Yeah.
So. And then I do my own things. I get to Europe and I'm getting probably, let's say I'm being marked £5. Let's say I get to England and I'm being marked £5 per hour. And I'm working 8 hours.
Yes.
But also, I come Ghana, Charlie, I'll be bomb
But I see that one too is a misconception. But I'll let you come inside. That one too is misconception. Make I tell you something. If you are getting 14 cedis a day, you go feel go buy some you go carry for 5 cedis, you go chop, drink water, you walk.
Cheers.
If you don't get money self where you pass your auntie house with a chop.
True.
For that money, even if it is 15 euro a day, the rental for them, there you don't get relative, you go pass, go chop. Where you go stay, if you purchase that with your friend, you go share the bill, the transport, the bills, they go take all that money you see, that's why they call it a vampire system. A vampire system. That sucks you like your blood. Because everything you get, no matter how high it is, the system takes everything back because of the standard of living.
Yeah.
The cost of living is also as high. So they pay you more, they take it all back, and you have nothing. So you may say, oh, maybe you go send some $50 to Ghana, occasionally save it, and you come back home, you're a big man. But if you are working 8 hours a day, that work will not be like here where you go office, go take this one, if you be restaurant where you wash plate, you go stand on your feet for 8 fucking hours washing those fucking plates. You have 30 minutes to go out for a smoke or for lunch and come back and stand on your feet for 8 hours. As a young man, if you do that job for 4 years, you go 10 old man. Oh, you don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
You go very relaxed. And you see the people there, when they work like that, then they have holiday. They go travel, go enjoy all that.
Okay.
You, the immigrant, the money you got, you know, if you
Travel.
go holiday.
Yeah.
You go 10 old man within some short period. See, so it's a slave system. And if you are not lucky, you won't even find a job. And if you don't find a job and you get stranded, especially if you don't have a permit to live there.
Yes.
And to work there,
Okay.
especially if you don't have a permit to work, it's difficult for you to get a job to do. And somebody who has permit may give you their permit to go and work. But when you use somebody's permit to work, somebody else, that person will be taking the pay and then paying you.
Yes.
So imagine that somebody has a permit to work and he doesn't go to work. You come and take it and go to work, and the pay comes to him. He takes the money and give you 5% or 10% of the money and keep the rest in his pocket. Are you not the slave? Sometimes I tell you something. Somebody they here, they drive taxi. They get maybe some 1,000, 1,500 a month. They say that job no good, they won't go abroad. He take all his savings Go there for embassy, go approach, you go reach there. Let's say you go to a place like Italy, where they don't speak English, they speak Italian, right? Yes. You don't speak Italian. When you reach there now, even that job taxi that I don't forget do. Because first of all, you have to learn the language first. It will take less than a year or two to learn the language. Before you now go driving school for there, go learn driving and learn my road sign. Before you then go look for that driver job.
So by the time you waste plenty time.
And there's no guarantee that you even end up getting the language, mastering the language and getting that license and getting the job. So you go spend 3 years trying to get the same job you ran away from here. The same job you run away from, you go spend 3 years, you don't get a job. I was in Milan, and one of my girlfriends, her family had a flour mill, and they were looking for a driver who will be driving a van, conveying the flour from place to place and offloading them, and etc. They were supposed to pay the person €3,000 a month. It was a good job. I was trying to find some Ghanaian guy that I know, some guys from my hometown, things like Italian things, who have been there for 20 years. I was trying to find a guy who could get that job because it was a good job. Yes. None of them, 20 years they've been in Italy, none of them had a license to even drive a car. Wow. One of them had a license to drive a scooter.
Just
20 years. They couldn't even qualify to drive a car. So you can't even get a job to drive a van that will be offloading flour. This is not a job you need your certificate to. You just need some muscles and some driving skills. Yeah. But 20 years, they couldn't get it. Wow, so what exactly have you been doing in that Europe for 20 years? All your family say, So this guy, when he did SOA, you know the ceremony. You say, well, my family guy did every weekend, my brother did every weekend. You know the ceremony.
The person they bleed.
Go and see your brother for there.
Exactly.
If you see him,
the kind of system that is living in.
I know what are you. So many people, what they do is that they change themselves, trade their dignity for their little money. But the money too goes back in the same system. So why? You see many people there in Abrochire, all they're trying to do is to please their family back home. They want to build some house so that everyone will say that, oh, as you go Abrochire, build some house. That house, you never go live inside though. You go to Abrochire, so sometimes you go die there, sometimes you come, you die. The house, what is all the work you go do for them when you build a house? What is it for?
Cost 90.
To please the society. But if you're here, you could do a little more work and you have time to enjoy life, to have leisure. There's no leisure over there. Unless you're rich, you don't have leisure over there. Oh, okay. But if you want to go for leisure there and you're not rich, you will sleep outside. Now let me give another example that makes that place not heaven. Winter. This is winter now. Yeah. Winter. If you don't have a heating in your house, you will die. Heating. Yeah. Because right now the temperature, look at the US. Temperatures below 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah. Low, minus 57 degrees Fahrenheit. So snow everywhere. Europe the same. So if you don't have heat in your house, you go freeze. Now if you are homeless, you are a dead man. If you are homeless, you are a dead man. So when it's winter, a lot of people die because they are poor. Yeah. Here, look, if you are poor and you don't even have any place to sleep on, you can sleep on the street. If we don't have winter, we don't have snow, we don't have nothing, we have the best weather. You are poor man, so you are sleeping on the road, no problem. You won't die because you are. If you die here where you are poor, it's because maybe you don't find food to eat, you are hungry. Even that one, you have some auntie, uncle, friend, you go pass the chop. Then you go in nearby house, go chop. But here, if you are poor people here can still laugh, can still smile, can still be happy, walk around. Poor people there, every day they think about how would I survive the next day? I go die or I go die. But if it's winter now, and you are homeless, you are as good as dead. And if you have a home and you don't have heating, you are half dead. You are praying that the winter will pass for you to survive. But here, you don't have that. So imagine the people who are there now, poor people there in winter now. Are they in hell or are they in heaven?
In hell.
Are they in hell or are they in heaven? But they're in Europe. They're in Europe.
Yeah, it's a flex. Like yes. In Europe, but at the same time, it kind of, what do you call it, circumstances that you find yourself in at the time you are there. Like, for instance, this particular season, that means that for you.
See,
based on this information that you've given to us, yes. I would like to pass a message to our girls out there.
That's right.
See them burgers that they come to you figure them new burgers. You see the thing that they go through. They'll go, hey, yeah.
But you see, this is the problem. The people that are from Europe come, they don't tell the truth. Few people will go talk like me, they tell the talk. Because me when I go reach Europe, keep long so where I say, I even this Europe, it no be different from as me. I go reach Europe. It was not 3-4 months, and I realized that I go feel make am better in Ghana. And then I realized that no, I need to just be coming to Europe and going. I don't need to stay here.
True.
Because first of all, I realized that if I'm going to be in Europe, I will not find my full potential.
Yeah.
My full potential. I'm a trained journalist. I'm an activist. I'm an author. Now in Europe, if you write, if you are creative, you have an opportunity. Because the Europeans, they like storytellers.
Yeah.
They like entertainment. So if for example, if you go to Amsterdam, we have what we call a Dam Square. It's a big square. And we have street artists. Some people go the square, just go, they do display, acrobatics, all kinds of art. People come and stand there, watch, and they will pay $5, $10, $10. As long as you entertain them, they will pay. Europeans, they like entertainment. If you beg them, they won't give you money. But if you entertain them, they want you to give them something, so they'll give you something back. So if you can entertain them, like you're an artist, music, writing, etc., you can make it. But you need to find
the right channel,
the right people to be able to hit. And so if you hit as an author, as a storyteller, as an artist, as a musician, then you become part of them. Because they like entertainers. If you're a black man, you entertain them well, they forget about the fact that you're a black man because you entertain them. Exactly. That's why in Europe they like the footballers, because the footballers entertain, they're black, they entertain them. They like them. Even when they're racist, it's only when they don't score the goal, when they miss the goal, that's when they're racist against the black people. Yeah. But when they entertain them, they're happy. For example, I can tell you that in Europe, the white men, they hate black men because they say black men always take their women. Because they say the black men have big black BBC, right? Yes. So they hate black
British
men.
Broadcasting Corporation.
So they hate black men, but they like to watch black porn. Because they like to see the black man with the BBC doing it to the black or the white woman.
Please, British Broadcasting Corporation.
British Broadcasting Corporation.
So if you entertain them, so I discovered immediately that okay, so I'm an artist, I'm a journalist. I don't need to be in Europe to really write or do. I can do it right here. Yes. And for me to be in Europe, I have to leave that aside. I have to put my training, my core, my talent, everything aside. And just in order to survive, to pay bills, I have to just go work, do some work in a farm or in a warehouse or in a bar, something that I will not do here in Ghana. So most of the time, people face this dilemma. You have to ask yourself: do I want to become a different person? Do I want to just deform myself, my self-image, my dignity? Do I want to, as a journalist, a respected journalist in Ghana, do I just want to now become another immigrant who got them the cool to go and get $15 an hour washing plates just because the $1 is equal to 14 Ghana cedis? So I'm now measuring my life, quality of my life according to the value of the Ghana cedi and the dollar. I mean, like, you reduce your life to exchange rate. You have to ask yourself this question. 99% of people reduce their lives to exchange rate, the value of the exchange rate. But I thought that is very mediocre. Yes. I didn't think that this is something I need to measure my life by. And so I thought, hey, I'm a great man. I cannot just pretend I'm not a great man because I'm in Europe. And I realized that no, I can come back home, I can run things here, I can go to Europe, I can come here, I can go to Europe, but I don't need to. And then I can be myself.
True.
I can be who I am instead of just stay in Europe, leave everything behind. Because after discovering that Europe is not heaven, I then began to appreciate home.
Exactly.
And I realized that Africa is not hell. Because after a couple of months, I think, let's say after 1 year, when I came back home, I saw that some of my mates who I was in journalism school with, who were working in some organization around here, some of them had started building houses. Okay. I have been in Europe for 1 year. I didn't have money to build a house. And these guys have not even gone to the airport, let alone go to Europe, but they build houses right here. And they probably would have been jealous of me that, for general travel is going to Europe, etc. But when I looked at them, I appreciated them more. I was like, you're here, you're building a house. What the fuck? Why am I wasting my time in Europe? It is exciting to travel around, to go to places, etc. But if you have a certain life purpose, it doesn't matter the location you are. Whether you're in Europe, you're in Ghana, you're whatever. I will tell you, for example, that once I was in Europe and I was trying to publish, I had a book I had written before I went to Europe called Panifest in the Dungeons, an experience of natural mistake. And I was trying to publish in Europe. I tried to contact a lot of agents, publishers, etc. It didn't work out. It wasn't good for me to get published. I even met this guy called Steve McQueen, The guy who directed the 12 Years a Slave. I met this guy in Amsterdam, and we talked. I introduced myself to him. We just met in the supermarket. He asked where I was from, etc. What I was doing. I told him what I was doing. I told him, look, I'm trying to publish a book, and I would like him to take a look at my book and see, since he's an artist, etc. And then the guy gave me his email address. But apparently the email address was wrong. When I sent the email, it didn't go. I don't know whether he intentionally gave me a wrong email address or it was a mistake. But that's one of the things. Most African people in the diaspora don't help each other. You see? Sometimes they don't. When I met this guy, I thought, this is my break. If this guy looks at my book, he likes my book, maybe I'll get published. The email address was wrong. But when I eventually came back here, I was right here when European publishers contacted me and said they were interested in writing a story, in working with me to publish a book. Why? These guys are called Eurobooks, based off in Rome. Why did they want me to write a story, to work with me to publish a book? Because they had discovered that I had been given residence in Europe for 5 years, and I stayed in Europe for less than 3 years, and had come back here, and I was living here with a resident card from Europe, and I was living here.
Yeah, true.
And they found it curious. Many young people are traveling over through the Mediterranean in the boat, dying, trying to get to Europe illegally, and you got a residence. Why do you go back home? And so one lady called me and said, "Can you tell me, just in a short way, why did you decide to return home, even though you can live in Europe?" And then I said, in summary, I discovered that Europe is not heaven and Africa is not hell.
That's so. So I'm making curious. So then, if you are seeing all these things, these are the reasons why Europe is not heaven. I'm curious to know why is Africa not hell?
Africa is not hell because, as I just said to you now, I came back to Africa, and now because I came back to Africa, the Europeans have called me. When I was in Europe, I could not get published. I came back to Africa, the Europeans have called me. We had a conversation. We started working together for the past 1 year, and I have a book called Unchained.
Okay.
Unchained. That's published by Eurobooks. It's going to be released in January. That book, when it's released in January, will take me on a book tour to more than 10 European capitals.
A book
tour.
A book one sport.
You say?
A book one sport.
You book one sport. That's right.
I also have another sport.
So I'm going to 10 European capitals for book tour. I'm going for book fairs. I'm going to do interviews on European television and radio and etc. I'll go to the US. But I didn't do this when I was in Europe. It was when I came back to Ghana that the Europeans respected me. They didn't when I was in Europe, they didn't respect me. They saw me as another immigrant.
Okay.
Whether the guy, you see, when you're in Europe as a black man, they cannot differentiate whether you came by the boat or you came by the air. You're all just black men just on the street. You understand what I'm saying? Even if you're a well-dressed black man in Europe, they can't tell the difference.
Oh my God.
And I can tell you something. There's something called the far right movement in Europe.
Okay.
And the far right is a kind of political movement that are involved in identity politics. These are white people. The majority are poor white people. They are so poor that they are blaming all their poverty on the immigrants coming from Africa and Middle East and Eastern Europe. They blame it on the immigrants because they claim that the immigrants are the one taking their job. And that's what's making them poor. Because they have to find somebody to blame.
Okay.
And because you are different, because the immigrants are different, they blame on you. Exactly. And especially when every day they hear the news that some boat has come from Lampedusa, some boat has been rescued, some African immigrants coming in illegally, etc. And they see the images, they get annoyed, and they start maltreating immigrants. They even, I can tell you that when I was in Milan not too long ago, a Nigerian guy, he's like a cripple. He sits on a wheelchair. He's begging. Some 3 or 4 white guys were just walking. The guy was begging them. They just became annoyed. They turned around and they beat the guy until the guy died. They beat him on the street and killed him. It became very big news in Italy because of their hate for immigrants. This guy is on the wheelchair. He's begging them, and the guy is like he's disturbing them. They just turned around, started beating the guy, beat him until they killed the guy on the spot and ran away. I think they were probably arrested later or something. So there's this kind of violence on immigrants because this far right, this so-called identity politics has made these people full of hate against minorities, people who are from other countries. So this is a form of racism. Okay, so there's certain sentiment called anti-immigration sentiment where people are against immigrants.
Okay.
So all this impacts on your ability to get a job, your ability to even get housing. You know, they put you are in low cost areas, poor areas, and there's crime. People are suffering, so they have involved in crime. Most of the ladies from Africa in Europe, they are in prostitution.
Okay, true.
Prostitution.
That's true.
Yes, prostitution.
Okay.
And the guys are selling drugs.
That will lead me to this particular question because I saw a video on TikTok. Though this guy, before he moved to Europe, right, he was making, I think quarterly, he was making 16,000 cedis in Ghana quarterly before he moved to Europe.
Yes.
And then when he got there, he started working factory job. And then the amount of money what he earned as salary for a quarter in Europe, as compared to what he was earning here, was very low.
Yes.
So I want to ask, comparing the job opportunities in Europe and then Africa, do you think Africa is, well, you know, we have good job opportunities that we are not supposed to be held? Do you think we have the, as compared to the Europe?
I tell you something. The problem we have here is that we don't want to, we just want somebody to employ us instead of trying to create job opportunities for ourselves. In Europe, I tell you, most young people are trying their own, begin their own startups. People are trying to create their own ideas, start something that will make them millions, make them a fortune. Not looking for a job that will make them have to wake up at 5 o'clock and take a train to go and work and come at 9 o'clock, get something, and go and sleep and suffer. They're struggling. They are trying to make a fortune with an idea, with a talent, with something creative. That's what most people are trying to do. But here, we just want somebody to employ us. Some of the money that people take to go to the embassy to go and queue. Look, there are some people, they apply for a visa like 10 times. When they bounce, then they keep applying for the visa.
Yeah.
You know how much the visa fees cost now? If you go for a visa, now apply for a visa, it won't cost you less than 1,500 cedis for any visa. Any visa. Now, you can go 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times, they're bouncing you. They don't give you.
Just become an investor.
But look at all that money. If you just could invest it in some simple idea,
Exactly.
you'll be surprised that in 2-3 years, you'll be making so much money, you will not, you see, there are a lot of people here who never tried to go abroad. They invested, they made a lot of money. And when they made money, all they do, they just go to the embassy, apply for a tourist visa. You see, what people don't know is that the embassy only reject those poor people. The embassies don't reject rich people. If a rich man wants to go to America now, they will never reject him. You know why? Because all he has to do is to say that, look, I want to just go and visit as a tourist. What is the criteria? You must have enough money to go and spend. Because the people they are looking for your money. You must have enough dollars. So they'll say, bring your bank account. You show your bank account. They say that, oh, these guys make a lot of money here. And once I make a lot of money, they know you will not leave this money and this job you're doing and go and stay there. Because there you won't make that money. True. So they will say, go. Because they know they are going to spend this money in their economy. And you will come back. Okay. Is it a poor guy that they won't give you? Because they know that when you go, you are going to just become a betting for them.
Okay.
You see, so there are people here who make it. They make a lot of money, and now when they want to go abroad, they just go get the tourist visa, go chill with their wife, children, come back, send their children abroad to go to school. Okay. So you can go abroad, but why don't you make it here and then you can just go enjoy? Okay. Instead of just waking up to go there, because I can assure you that a lot of people from here who went abroad, they have been stranded for 5-6 years, and this is the danger. If you go for the first 2-3 years and things are not good, if you are smart, you come back immediately. True. And come and restart over within a short period, you catch up. If you stay there 5, 6 to 10 years and you don't make it, you are not able to make it there. You are finished. You know why? Because you can't come back here again. Yeah. Okay. Right now, if you leave, if you decide to go Europe now and leave with your 2 friends, after 5 years, you don't make it. By the time you come back, come back here, you see your friends, you will be so shy. You will not like to visit them. They will be so far away from you that, and you are coming from abroad. You can't come and ask them for help.
Well, because they also will be looking at you.
But you go Europe 5 years, you didn't have me, they can't ask for help. Meanwhile, when you come with today, they are doing well. Yeah. They are doing well. But you go nothing. And the people say, oh, Charlie, they are project. Every day they chop pasta. Cheap food. Then, at the end of the day, if you take so long and you don't make it, you come back, because you know that when you come back, everybody will laugh at you. Everybody will know that you are just wasting your time there, you're roaming there for nothing. So because of that stigma, you come back. Yes. So you are going to remain there and just waste. So you see people walking on the street, Africans walking on the street, picking cigarette bars on the ground. They are not mad, they are not crazy. They are just broke, frustrated, nothing for them. They can't come back. They can't even buy a ticket to come home. Because if you come home with nothing, everybody will see your level. Yeah. So you can't come.
I want to based on what you are saying about the job opportunities, the job creation.
Yes.
Low key, one educational system. I personally tell my friends, my colleagues that Ghana, we do not have an educational system. We only have a schooling system.
Yes, right.
Repeat what you did.
Yeah.
We don't have an educational system.
True.
So we having this, how then it's how are we expected to now have that mindset to sit down, be creative? Because I compare that to places like Asia, and then I think I know of Cuba, where they promote more than I think 60-70% of collaboration as compared to just sitting in the classroom. We can't compare someone like that competing for a job. The person is going to make it and leave you because
true.
They have this educational. They are being educated.
That's right.
We
not
are
schools.
going to school.
No, the truth is that here our school system is not built as a creative incubators. You don't find creativity because it's just theoretical. There's no practicals in that school.
Exactly.
Even like I went to JAG, right, where I got my degree, journalism school, but they never showed us any camera. We never did any podcast with TV cameras or radio. Nothing. Just classroom. So if you are talented, you have to find it outside of the classroom, not inside the classroom.
Even there are some people that once upon a time I heard the story. I read the story on a newspaper where there's this Ghanaian lady and she was a science student, and she is very good when it comes to the theoretical aspect of it. Like she writes very well, and then when she's given an exam, she passes very well.
Right.
And she was sent abroad to represent Ghana in a science contest.
Yes.
When she got there, it was practicals, not theory.
That's right.
And then when she got there, she knew everything that she was supposed to do. She
think
knew
I'm a good
everything.
person.
But when it was time for her to do it, like practically, she was found wanting. She couldn't do anything.
That's right.
And then people were wondering, like, how is it possible that you know what to do, but when the things are brought in front of you, like, why can't you do it? Like, it makes no sense. And then the thing is, it happens a lot in Africa. Like it's everywhere.
Yes.
Where you see people who like go to school, they know chew and pour. That's what people do. Everybody does chew and pour.
Yes.
When it's time for exam, nobody wants to learn. Nobody wants to do anything. Or even if they learn, the practical aspects, because there are no facilities for practicals and stuff.
Right.
So like you go to secondary schools and then you see even stuff like the skeletal system. Some schools don't have it. So like when you take a look at our system itself, it's messed up.
Yes.
And then comparing yourself to people over there, I have a friend who left Ghana here, I think 2018, 2019. He's in the UK right now. And then the guy, I speak to him on a frequent basis, and he told me that, Ralph, like if you want to be very, very honest with yourself, like stay in Ghana, because from the way things are from my end, my mom has been here in UK for a very long time. I have come here from Ghana to UK, and then I have a it was a certificate.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But when he got there, it was useless.
Even university certificate is useless. How much more was the certificate?
So he had to go back to college.
That's right.
Before, when you get past college, then you go to university, and it was like, come on, take a look at this. So it means I wasted about 3 years in secondary school in Ghana here, and then I got to the UK, thinking that when I get there, I'm just going straight to the university, but not knowing he had to go back to college, and then so like I think the reason that most people actually think that Europe is heaven or it's because it's looking nice. Also, what do you call it? The TVs and then the social media.
For the media,
in Hollywood.
Exactly. The media portrays it. It portrays it as if it's even better than heaven itself. Excuse me to say.
But when it comes to media, that is why we need to tell our own stories. You see, that's why when you have experience like some of us who have been to Europe, we need to tell the stories.
True.
It's part of the reason why I wrote my book Unchained, because I'm trying to influence young people here, in not only in Ghana but in Africa, to understand that Europe is not heaven and Africa is not hell.
Exactly.
And to understand that, to make it, you don't necessarily need to be in Europe. It's nice to travel. But I can assure you, most of the people who really make it there are people probably who are professionally trained doctors. You see, the Europeans and Americans, the Westerners, let me put it this way, the Westerners, they will take the best brains out of Africa. The best brains.
Exactly. True. And that causes
so if you are a trained doctor, skilled doctor, engineer, even the engineers they don't have chance. But doctor, because doctors are everywhere. They're everywhere.
Sure.
So our best brains, and then also those guys who go, you get a scholarship to go and study in the university there, and you go and make it. You go there, you're one of the most brilliant students. You make it, you become a doctor, you do a PhD, etc. They want you to remain and teach.
Yeah.
That level. You see, they take the best brain, But if you just get up and go without any skill, with have a SS certificate there, it's like you haven't gone with a certificate. And if it's university certificate, regular courses like it shows our science, journalism, all these kind of things, it's better to leave your certificate at home and go.
I was so happy when you mentioned it, because fortunately for me, I graduated JIU this year.
Yes.
And then there was no lying whatever you said when it comes, and it's something I always battle with my colleagues.
That's right.
Population of, I think this set of students who graduate, we are supposed to graduate probably Final year, we were more than, if not more than, at least somewhere around 1,800.
That's right.
Journalism students, we are not up to 1,000. That's the reality.
Yes.
And the most funny thing is, most of the things that we study, less than 20% are practicals. If you want to be practical, unless you go do a
like you're doing now. If nobody taught you this in JJ.
If
you have to find it yourself.
So you look at a system like this, and then you want to compare it to. I believe Africa is not help.
Yes.
But one or two factors that will probably make me consider the European opportunities is what I've said. I'll prefer, as where I grow rich, if to give me the opportunity, make I go there.
You
go learn, they enter my system. I'm not gonna lie, I will highly consider it because one, at least their system, when you're educated, the system will highly, look at you. They will consider you a lot as compared to here.
Yes.
You are going to finish a school over here with less than 30-50% practicals from whatever you are studying in school.
Mm-hmm.
Forgetting that when you graduate for that particular course, you're going to compete with people who graduated like 5-10 years ago with the same certificate.
Exactly.
Who is going to employ you? One.
Yes.
Where are you going to get your income? Where's your room for productivity? Zero.
But I must remind you that right now in Europe, the population, the labor market, they are looking for only young people.
Oh,
so you guys are a bit younger. Me, I'm quite old now because I'm more than 40 years. So me like this, unless you have your talent. Like me, I'm a writer, I'm a creative. So I can do what I want to do.
Magic,
you young people can still go there now, and you can go to school and you can get into the system because you're still young. Because there's a certain age bracket they won't take you. They need you to have energy. You understand? Yeah. And right now the new degree in Europe is in the new international language. If you speak only English, you have no chance.
Exactly.
Because in Europe, they operate what they call a Schengen zone, whereby the same company can operate in 6, 7, 8 European countries, right? And so if they hire you, they want you to be able to work in different European countries for the same job, the same company. They can move you from Amsterdam to Milan, from Milan to Paris, from Paris to Hamburg. Yeah. But you need to be able to speak English, Italian, French, or Spanish, one or two. So if you speak English, Italian, and Spanish, or English, German, and Spanish, you have a first degree, you get a job. Somebody who has a PhD will not get a job.
Exactly.
True.
Because you are more valuable than the other guy. So the new international language has become a more seriously valuable tool. So if you want to go to Europe as a young man, you better learn another international language beyond English. Exactly. Because only English you have no chance. But if you learn French in addition, or Spanish, especially French, you have a chance. Yeah. That is how it is. But come back to your main point. Yes, practicality. If our system is so porous that the point is that we are just below par. We are below the standard. Generally. So if you are going to Europe, don't be thinking that you are going to go with your certificate from here. That one you must know. Your certificate from here will not be considered. It will not be considered. So if you get there now, unless I'm prepared to go to school there, but to go to school there is very expensive.
Exactly.
If you are not from there you don't get a scholarship. And if you don't have a scholarship and you've gone there as an immigrant right now, first of all, I tell you about where to live, how to survive. How can you think about how to pay school fees? Because yes, because first you have to go to the school there to get a certificate there before you can have a certain minimum threshold that you can be considered for a regular job.
Yeah.
So if you get there now, especially if you are an immigrant who doesn't have a resident permit, but you just got a visitor's visa. Most of the people, they get a visitor's visa for 3 months. They go there, they don't come back.
Yes.
So if they give you 3 months visa and you get there, you don't come back. That means you're not an illegal immigrant. You can't go to school. Because you're illegal.
Yes.
You can't get a regular job because you can't walk into the office and say I'm looking for a job because you're illegal.
True.
So you have put impediments on your way. You get out from here, they give you a visa, you get there, you come back to me. You have put impediments on your way that didn't exist here. Impediments didn't exist here. As I told you, there's racism there. Your color of your skin is considered in whether you even have a chance for an interview.
Exactly.
Here that doesn't exist.
Nobody.
Here you can say there's tribalism, whatever.
Exactly.
But maybe you also go and meet your own tribesman. But there, if you're a black man, you're a black man.
Yeah, that's
And you're a black man, therefore you don't have a chance.
And then the black man who is also having a little bit of a power to cannot help you because he's also under a white man.
That's right. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is that even though, yes, the standard of living in Europe, in America, whatever, is high, there are a lot more opportunities. True. But there are also a lot more obstacles on your way than here. So if you just look at the television and you look at the exchange rates and you look at the few who make it, because don't forget, let's not mislead everybody that everybody who goes to Europe or America will go and fail. No, there are a lot of people there who go and make it.
Yeah.
But it's at a great cost. Sometimes at the expense of your health, your long-term health. Sometimes mostly at the expense of your dignity, your self-dignity, self-worth, self-respect. Because you don't see them. You don't see how they suffer. When they come here with a chain and they exchange the dollar and they're just spending, you just be jealous of them.
Exactly.
The guy is probably digging graves in Europe. When he arrives, he's not going to tell you that he's not going to tell you that his euro he's holding is from digging graves. He won't tell you. No. Have you ever seen a burger who comes and tell you this is the work I do?
No one cares about the hustle.
You won't even hear them talk about the work.
No. So I'll tell you something. Most people will, and I'll tell you something. If you are caught up in the popular culture, whereby you are not in Europe or America, you want to come back home, put a chain, flash around some money to share everybody, I can assure you, it's a psychological thing. Most of the people, those guys are the ones who are really suffering and struggling there.
Yeah.
Because they are suffering and struggling there, because they are second-class citizens over there, because they are living below their dignity over there. The only way to get that dignity back is to come home, act like they are superior over everybody around here because they are poor.
That's why they'll be catching our small girls like that.
But people the ones who are very open-minded, enlightened. Even if I go and I get my money, if I can, you know I have money.
Go there.
I'll hide in my pocket.
Go there.
You see, I'm telling you, if people come back and want to show it here, it means they don't exist there.
Okay, so it's like we spent more time.
I can imagine.
But ladies,
I can imagine.
On the last note, the burgers in the sea for town this Christmas and come. It be coin that they can't give you. It pay me say somebody will come take £10, $10, come eat you free. And it's happening. It's really happening. Happening. People they just come here and then challenges out there. Please be mindful of these guys. I mean, festive season. Boys eat town, burgers eat town. They can't finish you go. They go preg you go. They don't care. So just stay true to yourself.
But there are home burgers. There are people here who don't travel. The things where they run, the money they get from our pocket. Don't be deceived by looks. Looks are deceiving. And not all that glitters is gold.
True.
And what you see on television is not what it is. It's like when you watch CNN or BBC, they show Africa just war, famine, and disease and poverty, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you who are here, if it enters on Illes Nakra, they want to say Jala Gravities. Hey, people they jump for like that. That will never be seen on television.
Yes.
The same way that they don't show that part of Europe. Look, when you get to Milan, you see white people in front of the Tommy Hilfiger stores. You see these big fashion stores.
Yeah.
Gucci, Tommy Hilfiger, Armani, Versace, Louis Vuitton. You see the shops in front, white people. Then the life up front of the shops, closed shops, they go cover themselves. They do that in the morning like this. Homeless, in the morning when they come to open, then they wake up, then they go stand for corner. They beg. They are Europeans, not even black people.
Okay.
But they will never show you that on the television. So don't think that there is all rosy. Yeah, here is not hell. Here is not hell at all.
The system is basically the same as what we have here, but just that there are some benefits to citizens of those countries.
Citizens.
Exactly. And then the only thing that benefits Africans that go there is just that the exchange rates. That's what Sacut was saying earlier. That don't live your life. Don't value your life to the exchange rates and stuff. So.
Well, on that exchange rate note, we are so privileged that you actually made time to listen and then watch the full episode. We promise you that the next episode is going to be extra fire. I only send this little advice to people. Then people that they forget that they wear Dior brand for Ghana, and I bet go check something. That's what I can tell you. Go check something. Charlie, we love your time another time.
But check out my book in January. It is coming out Unchained.
Sure. He come and we go share some for you.
Charlie, them free contact we say.
Of course. So we'll come back for part 2. So when the book is released, we'll come back for part 2.
Sure, definitely. We can't wait. We really love your vibe. Bless up.
Please be advised that this podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is in no way a replacement for legal or medical advice.